So once on the weekends, I want to kind of dedicate a video or so to speed duels. Now, there's not a lot to talk about in these videos, just kind of deck builds, strategies, some of the things I've kind of seen from the Facebook groups. So if you guys haven't joined any of the speed duel groups, I would recommend doing so. There's a few good ones out there right now that you can join. I know the organization posted an article, and it's actually where I got some of the ideas for this list. So this is going to be my current Blue Eyes list. I know Trent was playing Kaiba Mans and things like that, and he wasn't playing Champion's Vigilance. Also, if you plan on playing this format, you're going to need this card. I honestly think that this card is nuts and crazy. Like, it's actually really good value. So the first thing that we're going to be using is Kaiba's Dragon Caller skill. So for those of you that don't know, this card is so dumb. So once per duel, you can use one of the following skills. So if you successfully normal summon a Lord of D, you get to add a flute to summoning dragon from your deck to your hand. Or you can reveal a flute in your hand, search your deck for a Lord of D. Alright, who thought that this was going to be good for design? Also, you get to, it can recruit for Lord of D from the graveyard, by the way, too. So, yes, you get access to either of the skills on this card. So, this is actually of the utmost of importance. So, what am I doing for this deck? So, I am playing triple copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon. Now, considering the fact that there are 3 zones in the game currently, well, actually, yeah, 4,000 life points, dropping 2 beat sticks on the field is actually insane. And the reason why this is so good right now is because decks can't out this. Windstorm of Antiqua is the only thing that doesn't, and Amazon struggle. Like, they struggle to out Lord of D and 2 of these. Like, obviously, until we get the Amazon as trap card that deals damage back to the opponent, the fact that we don't have Sphere Karibo and the other things that made this deck a little bit less scary, for all intents and purposes at the moment, you know, this is probably the best deck. At least a Blue Eyes structured deck is. So, triple copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon. Now, you get your options of what you want to play. I'm playing 1 copy Red Eyes. Now, on the article that they were explaining things and talking about things, I liked the logic of this. Now, you have to understand that I am playing Champion's Vigilance. I like Tyrant Dragon as much as everybody else sitting at the dinner table. But you need cards to keep it online, and if your opponent starts answering your stuff, yeah. Now, obviously, a super buffed Amazon answers this card, but we don't have other good vanilla dragons at this point in time. So you kind of take your pick of what you have access to. So I do think, I mean, obviously, until we get better dragons, like 2400 is not bad. Obviously, if you don't want to go down the Champion's Vigilance route, you know, you can have access to Tyrant Dragons and the other crazy stuff. You can play the beatdown skill. Like, you have things that you can do. But for all intents and purposes, for the beginning of this format, you know, understand that, yeah, we're trying to keep Vigilance online. Okay, so there's that. Now, we have 3 copies of this guy. Now, this guy, first up, he is a spellcaster, which is actually very important. So, when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Dragon Warrior or Spellcaster normal monster. Yeah, Dragon Warrior or Spellcaster from your deck to your hand. Ladies and gentlemen, if both players have kind of started off the game a little bit, you got a Windstorm, you're trying to set up a little bit, you're looking at this guy, you're like, oh, I can normal summon this, Wonder One this guy off. I can search my deck for my Blue Eyes for the next turn. Absolutely. Like, who doesn't love searchability in this deck? Now, like I said, I know people are trying Kaiba Man and things, but I don't draw good cards. Like, you also have to understand, like, you've got to make the decision if you want to go first or second in this format, and, I mean, this can be a going first card to set up for the next turn, as long as your opponent doesn't open up Blue Eyes Flute and just kill you. Now, I am playing triple Lord of D and 1 copy of the Flute. So far in testing, I have been giving major consideration to bumping flute to more than one copy. And the reason why I say this is because on the other side of the skill, if I see the flute, I can reveal the flute and search for Lord of D. Because at the current point in time, I have to normal summon, resolve this, and then go get the flute through the skill that way. 5 options in a 20 card deck as opposed to 4. Definitely up for interpretation for what you want to do. The flute does become a dead draw the later that the game goes, and I understand that. So it is kind of up to you with how you want to approach things. Considering that this is the engine in the deck, I do think that you have options for what you want to do. Just, once again, it depends on your player preference, kind of what's going on in terms of your localized area, your metagame, and things like that. But a big think here, actually, for what you want to do. Now, you don't really get much of an argument for this in this deck. I know a lot of people are like, oh, really? Yeah. So when you, first off, you Lord of D with the flute set up, do this, you can draw 2 more, or you can buff up the Lord of D to 17. This does give, yeah, it's 500 a buff. Now there is no main phase 2. Oh my god, if I had a main phase 2 in this game, I'd be so happy, because then you could just go attack with Lord of D, and you can flute away the Lord of D. Most of the time, every time I see this on the field, I'm like, oh boy, my opponent is just leaving their draw card on the field for me. Like, don't mind if I walk on over and just kill your monster. But, I mean, you can send whatever you want to the graveyard, draw 2, like, draw power, no matter what it is in the game. Like, it says draw 2, it's gotta be good, right? Now, there are a lot of tech choices and things that you can kind of play. I'll talk about that in a second here, but we have triple copies of Champion's Vigilance. Now, we don't have extremely good Dark Magician support at the moment. I do believe there's a Dark Magician Girl Turbo deck list kind of floating around at the moment. There's a lot of talk for Shard of Greed and things like that. But having a counter trap card that just kind of shuts off everything. So, you control level 7 or higher normal monster. When a monster would be summoned, or when a spell trap card effect is activated, you can negate that summon or activation, and if you do, destroy it. Excellent power card. But you do have to have said high level monster on the field. Little things that you have to do, but this is just kind of set up your board. Oh, look, I won the game. Like, we did it. But I do think that this is fine. And then, of course, we have my tech choice. I'm really rocking these Windstorms. I am giving consideration to a third, but I'll explain my other card choice here. So for those of you that don't know, in a format where Lord of D stops you from targeting their stuff, it's kind of one of the problems I have with Amazons, is you can't kunai with chain, target switch, and I'll probably talk about Amazons next week. I know you guys want a Gravekeeper video. We'll get there at some point. I gotta learn what Gravekeepers actually do in this format, but that is up for interpretation. But in a format where Lord of D prevents you from targeting, you gotta make some decisions. So Windstorm of Antiqua literally just says change the battle positions of all face-up monsters your opponent controls. This does not affect you at all, and this will essentially get the game back to another stabilized turn for you. And that's all that you actually want in this format, is the chance to take another turn. So, excellent bait. Like, I think this card is a staple almost. I'm playing one Wild Tornado as my last tech choice. Now, this literally just says target one face-up Stone Trap card, destroy that face-up card, then that controller, its controller can set one Stone Trap card from their hand. And then if this set card is sent to the graveyard, you can get to target a face-up card on the field and destroy it. This is literally just bait for Amazons. Like, when Amazons attack and you have this set, like, you need to detonate their card. Like, and thank you, Amazon, that attacks me directly and pokes me for damage, because you just die to this. I do like having answers for Heirloom. I'm kind of just commit it all into one super big boss monster, or 2 boss monsters, and if it doesn't happen, it's just kind of bad luck. But I mean, like, you've got a lot of room for variance in this format, and it does does say a lot about the structure of the format, just kind of what you can play around with and things like that. So, guys, that's all I got for this Blue Eyes deck profile. Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Obviously, I know a lot of people are going to be testing things. We're going to be getting the first set, Sphere Karibo. I actually can't wait. Actually waiting to see if this format actually takes off locals. I do want to do a little bit of tabletop for this. You know, I'm excited for this format, a little bit more than I should be. Alright guys, I'm out. Peace.
The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a Truffle Shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out Vanquil40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.